Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Hi. Welcome, ladies. This is Bold
Thank you.
Voices for W. We're going to be recording this special episode on this International Women's Day for the rural woman. And so many people don't even know that this day exists. But I felt like I wanted to take the opportunity at this time where emotions are high, uncertainty is high in our community. And as rural women, I truly wanted us to have a discussion on who, is doing what, how we can be of supportive for each other, and really what resources are out there that people need to be aware of. So I've got two great women in the community, and I single-handedly picked this woman out because they have been strong advocates, and I honestly find my inspiration from what they do. Carol Erickson is a mentor, and I tell you, I've learned so much by just using her wisdom to guide my actions. And Sarah, I have watched you through the 10 years that I've known you just do amazing things in the community. So I want to have a discussion with both of you so we can inspire, educate, and enlighten women that are in rural areas how we can actually come together to build community. So I want to ask you, each of you, I'll start with Carol. Can you introduce yourself, what you do, and how you represent in this community?
I'm Carol Erickson. I'm CEO and co-owner of a company called Easy Way. We're a specialty chemical manufacturer and a facilities maintenance product supplier. We have been around the company's been around since 1930. My husband and I have owned it for 51 years. Um, In addition to that, I'm involved with the Food Rescue Hub in Woodstock. I'm the chair of a committee bringing the hub into Woodstock. I'm also on the board of Oxford Women in Networking. And, and I've always been a really strong supporter of women. I think we make a difference in the world. And the more of us who participate, the better the world will be. We have a different attitude towards collaboration, helping one another, supporting one another. And this is just something that I think is every one of us can make a difference by stepping up and doing a bit.
Yes, indeed. Definitely well said. It's just about coming together to understand how powerful we are. And so I want to give Sarah a chance to tell us what you do, who you are, and how you step up for the community.
Sure. My name is Sarah Allen. I am a mom of four really amazing kids, but they're not so little anymore. My husband's name is Seth. I'm actually finally, it took a little bit, but I am the store manager of the Carter's Oshkosh in Woodstock. And I spent 9 years at Sobeys. So you will see my face around. I really believe in connecting, community, finding that tribe within women. I just want women to feel those connections. So I'm really big on community and finding those hidden gems in the community and helping other women to find them.
And you have a group?
I do have a group. Yeah, I also run Oxford County Moms Coffee Talk. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. We have just over 1,000 members from Oxford County, and the only thing that we ask in the group is that you have kids under 18. And once you're in, you're in. We don't kick you out or anything. But just finding moms with kids to connect and to find other friends and relationships and that sort of thing. So, and I'm really proud of my group because it is one of the mommy boards that is really less drama. That was what I was looking for when I started it, was to find those connections with other women in a positive environment. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome. That definitely resonated with me. And I would say, just full disclosure, she was actually the reason that I became quite comfortable in Ingersoll because the first time I came in, again, it takes a woman to want to intentionally find those connections. I did reach out, looked online for so many groups in the community to join. And when I joined her group, that was the only group where there was that request for connection, where we actually had weekly calls for meetups, coffee meetups. And you would actually leave the community into a shop in the community and meet strangers and actually make friends out of them. And so I thank you for starting that. And that was first year you started the business, and I disqualified myself last year. My last baby turned 19. So, so I mean, it was amazing to have that. And I want to encourage women to reach out into your community when you come in, whether you're new, you're old. We don't want you isolated. We don't want you, suffering alone or in silence. You're suffering, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's abuse, or whether it's sickness. We need to know about you. We need to know where you are, because the connection is what makes us strong as a women tribe. So that's very interesting. Both of you are so vital to the community right now. I want to dig in a little bit more, just so that everyone who lives in a rural area understand that we're talking to them. Who is a rural woman, in your opinion? And let me start with you, Sarah.
For me, a rural woman is someone who is in small community, likes those connections, likes to find their tribe, likes to, I guess you could say in a small town, everybody kind of knows everybody, but it's finding those connections. And I've always grown up in a small town. I was born in Woodstock, lived in Woodstock, and my kids have been born and raised here, kind of deal. And I just always wanted the smaller town life for my kids. And I think that there are lots of obstacles with rural women.
Yeah.
But you find those people, and that was the big draw for me, was that women finding those connections.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what a rural woman is, someone who wants to be in the community, be involved in the community, and find their tribe.
All right. And Carol, who's the rural woman to you? Let's define her.
Well, it's interesting because my family had a farm in rural Saskatchewan. When I say rural, we were 10 miles from a town of 400 people.
Wow.
And so we were really far out. Um, our nearest neighbors were over a mile away. So the community got together when I was a child for community events, card games, and stuff. Um, People were so busy, we weren't back and forth the way people are maybe now. But there was a sense if somebody needed help, they helped one another. Um, but I was thinking of my mother as a rural woman. First of all, I have to tell you, when we talk about International Year of Rural Women, she was born in 1903. So she was married and had three children because of her birthday. 1929 was when she actually became a person in Canada. So I keep thinking of her. It seems like women's issues or the status is something that's we've had, rights for a long time. It's really not that long when you think about it, that my mom could not have um, had custody of her children if her marriage had split up. She had no rights, really. And so I keep thinking of that and how we can move forward. We've moved forward a lot, but we still haven't gotten where we want to be. So anyway, thinking in context of tonight, I don't really think of Woodstock as rural so much, and I understand compared to the GTA it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you can feel isolated in a small community. Khadija and I were talking earlier. My husband and I had moved from Melbourne, Australia to Woodstock in 1973. And I was really looking forward to, because all the signs said the friendly city. And it wasn't friendly. It was extremely difficult to meet people because we didn't have children. We didn't belong to a church. And so the people we worked with, we were in our 20s and they were in their 60s and 70s. And we had absolutely nothing in common. It was very, very difficult. And so I see this happening to even people now. And I think the pandemic has made that isolation and loneliness so much more than what it's ever been before. But so I have to tell you, Sarah, I wasn't aware of your mom's group. I am so impressed you put that together. I think that is awesome. And it's something that, boy, love to see that duplicated in many other communities, because I think particularly young moms need that support system.
Yeah,
Huge.
sure.
Yeah, very much so.
Definitely. Well, for me, when I think of rural women, like I don't think about the rural women in the context of small town, big town. I think about the lifestyle. And for me, even back in my country, rural women are more the women who go back to earth, who are farmers, who are, they create with their hands and they make our soaps and they make our, clothing and shoes and things that we use, different from the industrialized world, people who still have subsistence farming for even their own feeding. And then in the rural area here, I relate so much to it because again, we're the farmers. We're the ones who are doing the dirt from the, you know, ground to the table, from fork to farm or farm to fork, however we say it. And it makes me feel so connected because that's rural to me, is where life is so simple. We're just back to work, grinding and working hard to produce what it takes to live this life. We're less distracted with vanity. We're just hard workers, and we connect, like Carol said. We really want to know the next neighbor and connect and help the next neighbor. And I so think that in the context of being recognized internationally, the rural woman today has pockets of, I would say pockets of, urbanization within their rural communities, but there's still those who are still rural, still living in the boonies. And when we talk about connections, we really need to think about those women. We don't know how many of them are in happy marriages or not. We don't know how many of them are being abused or not. We don't know how many of them are sick. Sometimes without connections, without their own families, they miss out on the broader connection of community. And I think as we go through what we see as a very bleak future right now for our community, people worried about loss of jobs. And so I feel like this day meant so much more to me that we needed to talk about it. Because again, I've seen in my own experience recently, even just having to bring up issues that people have talked about, that I realized because I spoke about them, then all of a sudden we have women and people now looking at those solutions and then seeing, because I don't want to really make this political, but just for example, I knew there was a daycare issue and there was transportation issue and there was so many of those personal issues for women where you're working out of town, you don't have transportation, or you even have that one transportation that wasn't reliable. It just took me asking more questions about them. Why don't we have more competition? And the next thing, boom, there was competition because there was really not a very clear obstacle. It's just people didn't know what and how to navigate it. And so I feel like the more we talk about things, the more we bring up the resources to people, the more solutions we can find. And so that brings us to the challenges. What challenges can we really say are happening right now, aside from, yes, we know we have, very uncertain times ahead, but what are the current challenges we see that the rural women is facing right now so that we can put a face or, just put some see, we hear you and we see you and we believe you to the story. I'll take Carol. You.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I, as Khadija knows, I'm involved with bringing in a food rescue hub to Woodstock, which is slightly different than the food project, or quite a bit different actually than the food project in Ingersoll. But when I was at the township of Southwest Oxford at a meeting about food insecurity, it made me realize that, I was more aware of the women and families in town who had issues with food security, with hunger, with limited incomes. And then we were talking about what could they do? How can they identify families or women in rural communities who need help with food and are too proud or don't know that there's help? That is, I think, a big, big challenge. Certainly, I think violence against women is a challenge, and children. But right now, because of the times, I think people going hungry.
Yes.
People talk about food insecurity. I see it as hunger. People who are missing meals for days. Uh, it's, and there's no need for it because there's food available. We just have to get it to them.
Yes.
So
Totally
sorry.
agree. Food insecurity, number one on our table for sure. So tell me, Sarah, what's your main challenge that you see that we need to be tackling too?
I think like I see a lot, especially belonging to the Facebook mom boards. Um, I see a lot of women that are literally just struggling to feed their kids. That we're seeing posts where moms are going, you know what? I don't get baby bonus until the 20th, and I have a whole week and I don't have snacks. My kids have to stay home from school because I don't have snacks for them. I don't have lunches for them. Like, and those are huge issues. And I mean, we're lucky that there are some resources in the school. There are some programs, but I know that the lunch program that runs here in Ingersoll for kids that need it runs one day a week, right? Okay, but they're in school 5 days a week. What about the other 4 days?
Yeah.
So, and it's things like toilet paper or feminine hygiene products or things like that, that the simple basic necessities of life for women, and they're going without sometimes to make sure that their kids are fed. That's huge.
I guess we all can agree that food
Absolutely. And I
insecurity.
think
Hello? Can you hear me?
yeah, sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said I think we can all agree food insecurity is our main issue, and especially with the trying times. So I will ask Carol to give us an idea of what you're working on and how you're tackling that as a project that you talked about.
Well, I'd like to give you a little background. The United Way had a food rescue project that went for, I believe, 2 years and ended in beginning of March, I believe, in 2023. I became aware of what the impact of that loss was because groups that we supported as a family and as a business were short of food. This was Cycles of Life, Seniors in Food Crisis, Operation Sharing,
Mhm.
Southgate Center, Angel Program. And so that's why I called some people and we got together. And I thought it was a very simple solution that the grant that they had was a $40,000 grant to pay someone to work 20 hours a week and gather food. Well, Janine was gathering around 5 to 7,000 pounds of food a week and handling it herself, bringing it from stores. All that was ended abruptly when there was no transition into anything. It was just the project ended. I thought we could just raise $80,000, put her full time, and it would be solved. It turned out the problem was so much bigger than what I realized. And so, over the past 2.5 years, we have been working on trying to bring in a hub that will support community partners, whether it be Southgate Center, Operations Sharing, VON, DASO, Ingamo, Salvation Army, Sakura House, all of the groups that feed people. So we want to be the spot that all the food that's rescued or can be rescued comes to. We sort it and make it available to those groups for either no cost or such a minimal cost it would not impact their budgets. There is $58 billion a year of food that is produced for Canadians that's wasted. About 40% of that can be recovered or rescued. And so our challenge right now is number one, finding all the hungry people. So those groups, those community partners that we're looking at, they need the time to identify the people and get the food to them. And our job is to make that food accessible. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. We have the support of the mayor's task force in Woodstock. They have endorsed us for $50,000 in seed money to help get the hub going. We go before Woodstock City Council on November 6th with the idea that we'll be asking for council to approve the $50,000 out of the mayor's task force money. And we hope to have a facility up and running I hope to have an agreement on a place by December 1st, and it's how quickly it can be ready for us. The hub is already operating in a small manner through Southgate Center and has been for a couple of years, but we want to broaden it out so it helps a lot more people.
Awesome.
That is an amazing,
One in
amazing
four,
thing.
1 in 4 people in Oxford County is food insecure.
Yeah. And I
I think it's more than that. That's 2024 numbers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. It's an amazing thing. Like we've been talking about this, and I just realized it is important that we share this publicly because people, again, don't know what they don't know. And again, Sarah, when I talk about women needing to come together to take a deep breath now and let's look into the future and see how we can help, this project, again, for me, seems like a very good start. We need more women in the
Marina
community.
Erickson, FaceTime audio.
Okay. So we need people in the community who can even figure out how they can come into their own small groups to access this service once this is going. And I think people need to start thinking about how they can actually take advantage of how we can support each other through this crisis, because there's opportunities again to, to come together and actually create a small business or a small organization around helping others with this new access that you might have in Woodstock. And again, there is one also underway in Ingersoll. So very powerful initiative. And I think Woodstock, for all it's worth, everybody in Woodstock, I hope they're hearing and they know that this is coming and they can take advantage. And Ingersoll too, we are, of course, having to go to Woodstock for most of this, but again, we are having something happening in the community very soon, and I look forward to when that also takes place. But this is all about collaboration. All these organizations are collaborating and showing us what it means to come together to collaborate. So we, even as individuals, need to think about how we can come together in small groups and collaborate to make their agenda a success. So tell me, Sarah, how do you see how we in the community can channel our powers? Because I know you're very familiar with food distribution as well, and how all these foods are wasted in some of these, restaurants, or even, say, for example, Sobeys, and how they try to donate, and how much of that food is wasted if we don't have enough people to help distribute that food.
Well, and I know that, and I'm not, of course, speaking on behalf of Sobeys, but I know that working with Sobeys, I know that they were doing a lot of food donations to the Salvation Army, and Salvation Army would come every Tuesday and just get boxes and boxes and boxes of the leftover food. I find now, and I even use them myself, to be honest, but I think also people need to be aware of the apps if they have a phone or whatnot, Flash Food and the Too Good to Go and those type of apps. I actually, to be honest, I love Too Good to Go.
I know,
and I use it quite often.
Yeah.
There's some really, really great things out of those apps, right?
Yeah.
So that type of thing too is that it's a good way for people to get food at a really good price, right?
Yeah.
So
I
What
think
I'm
there's
thinking,
sorry, can I say something before
Yeah.
it gets forgotten? Sarah, if there are people needing hygiene products, reach out to United Way, because I heard, and I don't know if it's true, that they had ample products from Tampon Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that Ingersoll or that everybody was aware who could get it. So there might be some availability there if you talk to Lindsay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she works at United Way. And I just would hate people to miss that opportunity.
Something so basic, but it's so important. I mean, to be a woman and not be able to afford that kind of stuff, it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
One of the things that I'm trying to do covertly or overtly is to find a way for women to all come together, to rise up and connect, because in numbers, you have power. Rural women are scattered. When we come together and we have issues and we debate them and we talk about how we can propose solutions, it takes the visibility of these women to actually have something pushed through. I cannot believe that we are still in a place in time where we still have to charge women for sanitary products. It is high time we get to a point where we can actually start to advocate, even federally, that product should not be a product that is actually taxed. it should be something giveaway. It should be the giveaway of the store. Like, I really don't understand how we are still making money from women. But
We
again,
didn't
that's
choose
another
this.
story.
It
Yeah,
just
it's a story
happens.
for another day. But again, for women to understand the power
Right?
in coming together through any group you see in your community, just join it. It helps your
Yeah.
sanity. It helps you to feel a sense of belonging. It just connects you to a crowd of people that could be a lifesaver one day. And I encourage women to take it a step further, to meet new people in the community, like have meetings with strangers. If without your group and without Owen, for example, and without your voice, Ingersoll, or Ingersoll Unplugged, there are other groups that we belong to, we wouldn't know what's happening even around us. And it's important to come out and connect, learn, and see how you can help, volunteer. Because I'll tell you, for most immigrants like me, I mean, times have changed. But what we did when we hit the ground running was to know that you had to volunteer in this country before you could even ever think of getting a job. And that was crucial to everyone's sanity. So learning the culture, learning the community, learning the civic, behaviors and attitudes is paramount. That's why when you see an immigrant finally become of themselves, they have paid their dues. They are continuously volunteering. But I find that sometimes locals don't understand the value in coming out to volunteer. And that's what I want us to get out of this, that this is time for us to rise up and support each other. The resources that have been shared here are very crucial. We need to start thinking about how we plug into these solutions. If you're a woman out there and you feel like you're in the boonies and you have 2 or 3 neighbors that are hungry, be the contact person, contact Carol, contact Sarah. So I'm going to give you, before we wrap up, because we have about maybe 8 minutes, tell us how they can reach these services. And again, I will post them along with this video, but let's talk to them about how you can reach these services. So I'll give Carol a go as to how some of these individuals can connect with the organizations that are going to be connected with you.
Okay, so the group I belong to, the Food Rescue Hub, supports charities and nonprofits that help feed people. So I'm not directly involved in dealing with people and feeding them through the Food Rescue Hub. I would suggest, number one, if there are people 50 plus, if you know of anyone who needs food, reach out to Seniors in Food Crisis. In Ingersoll, Cycles of Life is part of the food project, and they can help people. They have one day a week, and I can't remember whether it's Tuesday or Thursday in Ingersoll. They have a table out. Also, the Stitch Supper Club in Ingersoll is every Thursday night, and that is free food, and they have extra rescued food there for people. If you don't know what to do, call 211. That is paid for by the United Way, and that is a resource to help you find what you need, whether it's food, whether it's help with your electricity, whether it's finding a doctor. I don't know all the parameters, but I know that it's a resource that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you don't know what else to do, I would call the United Way office and ask them. Ask a pastor if you're in a church, or I don't know, maybe you have some other ideas.
All right, Sarah, you can add to that so people know where to go, how to find help.
For sure. Especially, I think in this day and age, I think that we need to use the tools that we have. And Facebook is a great resource for that. Like,
Yep.
I was writing some stuff down earlier, and we do have Seniors in Food Crisis. We have neighbors helping neighbors in Woodstock and Oxford communities. We have the OCMC Community Closet. We have Stitch Supper Club, which is great for connecting.
Yeah.
You don't need to be food insecure because they look for donations, but that's a great way to connect with your community and go and have dinner.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that once. I took my kids and we had a fantastic dinner, and I got to talk to people. They are always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
There's another one, Oxford County Can For You, like can, CAN, and the letter or the number 4, and then the letter U. That one is for like school snacks. If you are desperate for school snacks, or lunches for your kids, like those type of things, they are always looking for help that way. There's the early on centers. great resources. Work, Women's Employment Center.
Yeah.
They are absolutely fantastic. My own page, Oxford County Moms Coffee Talk. You can
Yeah.
reach out to me. I'm Sarah Lynn on
Yeah.
Facebook. And I
Yeah.
also run the Friendly Ghost Costume Stop, which gives free Halloween costumes to anybody that needs them. I don't care whether you have $5 million or $500 or $5 in your bank account. We spend a whole year collecting Halloween costumes to give them away.
Yeah.
So there's lots of resources. It's just accessing them. And
And
if you're on a mommy
asking.
board, join a mommy board. Ask for help,
Yes. Thank you.
right?
Thank you so much. And I want to say it's important to ask. And for that mom who will not send her kids to school because they don't have snacks, please send them to school because the school is a resource. And everything that we have in our community is a resource. When someone knows about your situation, there is help available. Please, let's come out and support each other and not live in isolation, especially through the dark times that we're about to go through. I really hope this makes an impact in our community. I hope it's a resource that someone can listen to and get some help. Please, thank you so much, ladies, for giving me your time tonight. I think this day, International Day for the Rural Woman, was the little that we could do, we did to share this information. And I hope that everyone goes home safe, stay safe, and thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
I hope to meet you, Sarah.
Yes.
I think I've been to one of your events, so
Oh, yeah.
we'll
Owen, she
connect
was
up
at the
at
last
some
Owen
point.
event. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.